It's about friendship.
Yeah.
It's about what do you do when, and we're in an environment now where it's really tough and people have opinions and they have strong opinions, and whether it's political, religious, whatever. And if you have a friendship, or it happens in family, it happened with my family, and they have different opinions. So you have to really decide, how am I going to handle this? Is it worth it? Is there enough love to try to listen and understand that? Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. That's why I love this play. That's the core of it.
I'm thrilled to be sitting with you here at Sardi's.
I know, come on.
This is
the best.
You're about to return to Broadway as the director of art.
Yes.
I know it's the preview period now. How excited are you? Like, what's going on now at the theater?
You know what? It's actually, this time is always great because you had rehearsals, you were there. The most important character that comes in is the audience.
Yeah.
So then the audience starts telling you certain things. So we've had a good, week and a half now, and now we go into our final week, and I think we're in pretty good shape. And so I'm starting to pull back a little bit, which is always hard as a director. You go, they don't really want you around anyway.
Let them do their thing with the audience.
They know we've done a lot, and so that's where we're at. But it's good. They're three incredible actors.
Okay, this is one of my favorite plays. What attracted you to art? Like, how did you come involved with this?
Well, how I got involved with it is that I had gotten a call from the producer saying, James is interested in maybe exploring doing this show. Would you meet with him? I was like, yeah, and I was in Paris shooting a TV show, so I took the train down and I spent a couple hours with him in London. And I loved the play. I saw the play many times, and Victor Garber, who's one of my closest friends, was in it, so I went to LA and things. So I've always loved the play. And so I left the meeting and I said to the producer, I said, he's pretty great. If he's interested, in me doing it, then I'm interested in doing it. So that's what, so he called and said, yeah, I liked him. So we talked again, and then I said, okay, let's go. So that's how it is. But I loved the play. And then I got to talk with Yasmina, and went out for dinner with her in Paris, and she's incredible. And then went back down to meet with Christopher Hampton. So I just wanted to talk and get as much information as I could on the play. So.
And then Neil Patrick Harris and Bobby Cannavale get involved.
Yeah. So James, I got involved because of James, and James is so respectful and said, I don't want to be, he wanted great actors, that he was not interested in being the only name, so to speak. He just wanted really good actors. So he said, I'll trust you on what you want. I said, okay, I appreciate that, but I'm gonna check with you and say, here's who I wanna go. And if you have any, I said, it has to be three people that are good people. So I started with Bobby first, and I called. I said, and I've known Bobby for many, many years and has worked with his wife, and I'm going to be working with her again in the spring. So I met with him and I said, here's the idea, and we went out and talked, and he said, okay, I'm on. So then after that triangle, I called James and I said, I think Neil Patrick Harris is where I would like to go. And so he said, great. And so I had met Neil the day before. We had, again, known him for years, never worked together. And we said, let's go out for lunch, but let's not talk about the business. So we didn't talk about the business. We talked about family and all that. So the next day he got an offer and he said, I cannot believe we went out for lunch and you didn't talk anything about this. I said, our deal was no business, and that was it. And that's how it came. That was the three.
See, I think that's great, where you just meet with people.
Yes, yeah, you just meet and feel. I said from the very beginning, I don't think the play can work unless you believe those three people are friends, that they like each other. I mean, actors are great. Maybe they can go, I don't like you, but I'm going to pretend it. But I think in this play, it's very difficult. So I was out of the country and flew in. Once it was cast, flew in because they were doing a photo shoot. And I just wanted to be there and observe the three of them. And I went, okay, I think we're good.
They're the best of friends. I mean, sitting with them a few weeks ago, I was like, this is like three people who've known each other forever.
I told the stage manager one time, I said, because we would intense rehearsals, I was so exhausted. Pirates was a walk in the park compared to this. It's just so intense. And we would get on breaks and they would go and talk and they would sit around the head and she would start trying to pull them back and went, nope. What we're doing when rehearsing is important. What they're doing now is more important. Let them be. Let them continue to connect as people and as actors, and that's only going to help when they get on stage, which is exactly what happens.
So I want to talk to you about being a director because you love to teach, you love to mentor.
Yeah.
And when you go into a project, I'm sure a lot of directors like, how do I start? And I just figured everything is different when you have a project, right? Because like you said, with these gentlemen, it's like you wanted them to get to know each other.
Yeah, yeah.
And you don't always have the answers right away, do you?
Oh my God,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
You know, I always say, and of course musicals are different and revivals, musicals, new plays, revival. I've been lucky to do a lot of them. I mean, different ones. But you always go in, for me, I always go in trying to understand, obviously, the play as much as I can and have answers. And the first thing I do is to let it go if something else is better. And a lot of times it is better. So I always say to an actor, I'm not sure, but, or maybe this. And every project is very different. And this one is different because there's only three people. But that's sort of how I go in and work. And I love actors. I love actors. And I feel like you need to go in and it needs to be a collaboration. You can't tell an actor, do this, if it's not working for them. That's never gonna work. So you have to find where, ultimately I have to sort of shape it and so this is how we wanna see it. But building up to it, it's a very collaborative sort of, the environment in a room has to be free and has to be open for discussion and trying things. Actors, it's like a tightrope, and they go from here for here, and they should fall a lot because they're trying things. And as long as there's a net there and a feeling of safety, they'll get back up and do it again. And as long as the room feels it's a good room, it's a safe room, let's try it. A lot of things won't work, but let's try it. That's the total joy of it. For me, it is.
Yeah. Yasmina.
Yeah.
We fell in love with this play. You think it's about a piece of art.
Yeah.
But it's nothing like that at all.
No,
what do you think the show is really about?
It's about friendship. Yeah. It's about what do you do when, and we're in an environment now where it's really tough and people have opinions and they have strong opinions, and whether it's political, religious, whatever. And if you have a friendship, or it happens in family, it happened with my family, and they have different opinions. So you have to really decide, how am I going to handle this? Is it worth it? Is there enough love to try to listen and understand that? Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. That's why I love this play. That's the core of it.
Yeah.
And these friends get, they can be cruel, but that's okay. That's part of the journey of exploring, is it worth it? Is this worth it? And we switched the script up to a little bit that they've been friends for 25 years. And that's a long time to be friendship. And is it worth to continue it, or has it run its course, and can we find a ground to continue to have a relationship as a friendship? And I think that's what this journey is, And at the end of it, you don't know what's going to happen, but they're going to try.
Yeah. What did you want to bring to this production, having seen the other ones?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's always tricky when you go back into a revival, especially one that has been successful. I know with Take Me Out, it was challenging. That it was a beautiful production and that Joe did, and it's a way of really sort of wiping it away and looking at it as fresh as you can. And that's the most difficult. So for me, it was letting go. I guess I did see it upon myself, but it was a long time ago. So you sort of, memories a little bit, but you sort of let that go. And then it's really about finding the new way of telling the story with the actors that you have, because they're different. Visually it's very different. Music, it's very different. I wanted to do something different with the music and not so. Tom Harpoon wrote it, which has been incredible. and the set is very probably. Rockwell it's one of the most. I've worked with David Rockwell a lot. It's probably the hardest set we've done because it has to be precise and simple. And if one thing isn't right, it sort of affects everything else. So I don't think I've ever had more talks about a set than that. And it's one set. So I think that's it. You're trying to find it is the story. We decided to keep it today. It's not a period piece at all. We changed a few things, and that's been great. So you just bring what this environment, this world, where we're living in this time, and how does it affect telling the story? And it does affect telling the story. It's not being told the same way it was 30 years ago because we're different, Society is different. We're in a tricky situation. It's all that is different. So you'd have to be open for that.
Yeah.
So,
Now I remember reading, I think when she originally wrote this play, she saw it more as a serious play.
Oh, Christopher Hampton said the funniest thing when they went to London. And Christopher Hampton is, they're both great, but she turned to him and said, what have you done with my play? Because people were laughing.
Yeah.
And he was like, I didn't do anything. I said, it's just different people look at things differently. In Paris, it's very different than it is in England, and very different than it is in America. So yes, she was always she's very happy now.
Yeah.
She's happy that it's a funny play, and then it turns and it becomes very, very serious, which is why I love it. It just goes and keeps taking you off guard a little bit.
Going back to friendship, I understand why this play gets done all around the world in all these different languages.
Yes.
Because people can appreciate art, but they realize, it's about a friendship.
That's right. That's the core, and that's the human. That's what it is. Yes, it's art, but they even say he could have bought other things. He could have bought a fancy car. He could have bought a piece of very expensive antique. It could have been anything. It happens to be art, but that discussion and the challenge would. Yeah.
I just love it that it's all white. It just sits there and someone paid a lot of money for this.
And of course, someone would tell you, or one of the characters would say, it's not all white. And that becomes the discussion. What is it? What do we see? What do we all see things differently. And can you respect someone's different look on something? Again, political, religion, whatever. Can you respect that? Can you listen to that? Someone sees that painting and said it's white. Someone else sees it and said it's not white. It's this and that.
That's what a great play does.
I think so. It makes you think. Makes you question and think. Yeah.